Okay, hey, this is G4T. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm stranded out here in Orange County, California for the night. And hung out in Denny's for there you can see it, 2:57 in the morning. And I notice it helps if you keep moving. So I spent about 2 hours in Denny's, had a cup of coffee, and I really don't want to sleep in the bushes, so I slept about an hour in the back of a guy's pickup truck. An hour, 2 hours. Pretty much that's all the sleep I'm going to get for tonight. And there were some people just chillaxing in Denny's for the night out here, and I also noticed a couple people sleeping in their cars, as well as sleeping in the sleeping in chairs, and it's really interesting. So anyways, right now I'm just killing some time before the buses start riding again around 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. So it wasn't too tough. It's just like camping. Just got to be careful of your safety. Right now, what's on my thoughts is just happiness. Happiness that I was able to just get through the entire night on the street, not panic, and actually thoroughly enjoy myself. Since I've unplugged from watching TV and a lot of movies, I think what happens is your brain kind of goes through a withdrawal process. There's a couple other things I'm trying to go through the withdrawal process. I notice there's a lot of mental addictions in modern society that are unnatural. And as you guys know, I'm studying the paleo diet, how people ate 50,000 years ago. And what I'm doing is studying indigenous cultures. And I've been listening to a lot of Alan Watt, and it's really intriguing. There's a lot in modern society that fosters mental disorder, anxiety, and addiction. And I know we're proponents of free market capitalism, which is the most efficient way to deliver goods and services. But within that free market system, there's a lot of control mechanisms going on, and a lot of power playing going on. And Alan Watt talks about the TV being the #1 way to propagandize and control people's minds. I mean, basically it's a one mass media element that controls culture. Tells you what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what's politically correct, what is normal ways of dress, everything. Thought patterns, and then it also reinforces consumer culture, where you are, you start to feel ostracized if you're not continually buying things. So, on a personal level, I think I've pushed through a threshold with the consumption aspect. Kind of dealing with some issues with the wife where I'm giving her most of my income, and I've actually gone a couple months without spending any money. And at the first month I did that, it was very, very difficult, because I was always used to having a couple bucks in my pocket and just buying a cup of coffee, buying this, buying that. But the first month I went through with actually not having any money in my pocket, and eating at home, cooking at home, traveling, bicycling, and doing it without money. It's like you break through this addiction process of always spending. So now I notice that I can go somewhere and I don't have to buy something. I don't have to spend money. And it's kind of weird. Society America isn't set up for it. I mean, we have anti-loitering laws and stuff like that. And Dmitry Orlov talks about that. Like in Russia, they don't have loitering laws. I mean, literally, we're going to get to a situation in America where all you're going to be doing is loitering. I mean, a lot of people are going to be loitering. They're going to be hanging out in parks and retail centers playing chess and checkers. I mean, a lot of this, getting through this, if you don't have a job and you're just, it's killing time. And it's kind of weird because you would think watching more TV would be a way to kill time, but I would argue the opposite. I would argue that watching TV creates a dual reality, and it fractures your reality, and it will present you with one concept that, you know, everything's peachy keen, but then you're out there busting your ass trying to get interviews, and you're getting rejection after rejection, and then I think a dislocation happens in your cerebral cortex. So my argument would be disengage from modern society, disengage from the television, and start processing things in a natural way, a natural human way. And I think that's part of what we're doing here on YouTube. Is you know, for hundreds of thousands of years, we would gather around the campfire and eat together, fight together, risk our lives for each other, and depend upon each other for survival. And modern society has erased that. And you know, all politics and social structure, political structure, those are just shadows of the tribe and the tribal aspects of our evolution. You know, pretending that we have some sort of input to our tribal leader Obama, you know, when it's really not. Same thing with sports. Alan Watt talks about that sports were set up to give men an idea of association and competition, when they have a demeaning and demoralizing aspect to their lives. They're going to be able to associate themselves with a sports team. Not that I'm criticizing it in any way, but it's something to think about. And then he talks about, and Bernays talks about, how they were able to change women's psychology from that of a, you know, co-partner with her husband for survival and sacrifice and frugality, to one of consumer-based shopping, where what it means to be a woman is to go shopping, collect things, spend currency. And we've really screwed things up. But, you know, it's 30 or 40 years of this propaganda, and we're all in this de-evolution process, and we're all on YouTube, we're all in different stages of it. So it's just fascinating to go through it myself. But it is an addiction process, and there's a lot of addiction mentally and physically, you know. So right now I'm going through, I'm rambling here. I'm going through an addiction withdrawal process of sugar, because I've cut most sugar out of my diet, and I've cut most starches, carbs out of my diet. Not entirely. I'm about 20-30 grams of carbs a day. And your body actually goes through a withdrawal process. So this addiction theme seems to be replaying itself in many different levels on my life, from the diet to the mental to the emotional, physical, and I'm just kind of exploring all my different addictions. But I can tell you, number one, television is a big addiction, and when you cut that out, I even think music can be an addiction too, because I think music is great, but I think if you have to listen to it constantly, then I think there might be a problem, because I notice that at the beach. When I'm at the beach, you know, what I enjoy doing is taking off my shoes, putting my feet in the water, and just getting in touch with nature, listening to the sounds of the birds and the ocean, and trying to get in tune with the nature aspect. Then I'll see someone running, and they're enjoying nature, but they're blasting out the MP3 player, and I'm like, man, just, I understand that, but it's like you're missing all the beauty of the sounds, you know, of nature. Not that I'm judging them, it's just, you know, it just makes me think. And it's the same thing with TV. I think what happens is when we are constantly bombarded by images that are quick-paced and highly edited with music and sound effects, we tend to get bored of real life. So now that I've and YouTube kind of allows us to simulate real life, and that there's not usually a lot of editing to the videos. But when you start cutting that highly edited emotional music out of your life, you start becoming very, very satisfied with just a normal pace of visual content, a normal pace of conversational content, and you get a well, for myself personally, I can spend hours with myself and not get bored. So that's a phenomenon that, and maybe that might just be age, but I can do this, take a trip by myself, and actually enjoy my time with myself, not be lonely. I have a spiritual aspect, so I always feel like God's with me wherever I go. So maybe that helps me, but I like thinking about things and just having my thoughts with me. And I like doing experiments on myself.